Good evening, everybody. First thing, don't believe him. To not spend too much time on presenting something to you, without any doubt, I second what Vidya mentioned in her presentation. She was mentioning about fraud as a crime and how the landscape is reacting to it today globally and in India. I'm going to be talking to you about how this manifests into a fraud. On the first place, she gave us a statistic of 58% of the respondents in a survey fear that IT should be managed better to fight fraud or crime. But I believe the cohesiveness among what I call the people, process and technology is what is going to help prevent fraud. So talking about cryptography, where Mr. Ravi introduced me as, being a cryptographer or a cryptologist doesn't qualify to be a great person, because I don't know how many of you have heard Bruce Schneier. He says security is never a product, but it's a process, and he's a cryptologist himself. It's not about designing strong cryptography which is going to help you ever. And he also goes to say that if you think cryptography is the solution to your problem, then you actually do not know what your problem is. And I second him on that. So any security measure when a company adopts, no doubt it has to emanate from the CEO-ship of the company. It cannot be an IT-centric or a physical security-centric or just an awareness-centric issue anymore. We also heard a statement of ignorance being bliss. I'm afraid in this subject and context of security, ignorance is not bliss anymore, because there is a subject and topic which is not tolerable by many companies anymore. So I'm going to be briefly touching upon some statistics, a part of which Vidya had already covered. I'm going to map the breaches in the last 3 years by a report from Verizon, and I'm going to give you some simple case studies which I have encountered in the last maybe 1 year. But I'm going to leave the stage open for a lot of discussions. I'm sure this as a subject, you're going to have a lot of questions to ask. So I'm not going to be spending too much time standing here. I'm going to be spending too much time sitting there to answer your questions wherever I can. So $2.8 million US by a report by Symantec is what cost Indian banks alone. Vidya mentioned banks, manufacturing, pharma and education, whatever. But I'm talking only about the financial segment in India, financial sector in India, where $2 million US is what is lost. And 61% they said they've lost customer confidence, where there was a 55% of confidence loss, or where they felt that reputational hazard was the topmost concern. The last two figures is something which I took from the PwC report 2011, very interesting report. If you get a chance to read it, please do so, because that's the starting point. You've got to map that report to your company. Though I'm from Mahindra and she's from PwC, what I'm saying is, you have the starting point with you in the public domain. So don't think that information security is a subject where I will need an expert. You will need an expert at a next level. But don't begin to feel that information security is something which I will not know anything about. Because I'm going to quote some examples which will make you believe that it's not specialist job to begin with. So the fact that 35% of a PwC survey, there's no cyber security training. That by itself is a crime. Leave alone. So if these 35 respondents believe that somebody has done crime, I will want to go back and do an investigation on this company. So the simple reason, I want to know how much of levi did they give for these people to, perpetrate this attack or crime or fraud. Okay? I'm going to touch upon some examples. The bold and underline is for you to understand. Approximately 35% of fraud is still detected by chance, which is not a happy news. So if there are any decision makers sitting in this forum today, my only request to you is to take note of these 3 points, just these 3 points to begin with, and see how do you map it to your company today. So incidents, again, we just spoke about incidents. Okay, this is a report by Verizon. We still don't have the 2011 statistics, but wherever you see a star on top of the green bar, means that's an area of concern. External source, about 90+% of this contradicts to what Mr. Ravi said a while ago, saying 70% of frauds occur due to insiders. But what is this external source that we are talking about? We're talking about that's where it emanates from. There is a need externally for somebody from inside to the insider is only a catalyst, if I may use the word. Okay? Do you see the hacking over there, the second star? What worries me today is it came down in 2009, but it's gone up in 2010, and I'm very much interested to see how 2011 is going to stand there. This is despite the fact that in the last 3 years, many IT companies, many product companies have boasted of anti-hacking measures, or whatever you want to term it as, in their companies. So I've been talking to a lot of CIOs, CTOs in the last 1 year who said, there was a classic case of a CIO saying, I've invested 100 crores, so I just don't think someone could hack it easily. But I will come back to that case. Physical attacks. Now this is something like you leave your laptop in your car, and your laptop doesn't carry a simple Windows password protection or an encryption or any protection, and your window gets smashed and the laptop is stolen. How many of you have heard these instances? How many of you have heard about this instance in Bombay where a laptop was stolen from a 5-star hotel lounge and the person was caught? They recovered 3 laptops without the hard disk in them. It was public news. I don't know how many of you know this. So these are physical attacks, and you see the last star, avoidable by simple measures. The measure that I just mentioned is one such measure. Somewhere, this is why I say ignorance is not bliss anymore. So this is where you need to start to make people aware. You could then get into cyber training and attack and anti-attack and offensive security training to your team. But again, I'm saying that is level 3, 4, 5. That is level 3, 4, 5. There is a level 10, which is like you need to engage a consultant. These are some case studies. A classic case study of a CIO telling me, Mani, I have a strange feeling that my ex-employees are able to access their emails still. And so we did a quick investigation. We found that due to an internal lapse in their process, or a procedural, I wouldn't want to call it a flaw, it was an oversight. So the emails will continue to go to the BlackBerry or to the person till the FNF is cleared by the HR. I don't know why this is so. So what does this indicate to us as we speak today? A big disconnect between HR and IT. A big disconnect between HR and IT. The moment Mani puts in his papers, what is the HR supposed to do? Because IT is not the first guy who's going to be knowing about Mani's exit from the company. These are simple things, and I'm talking about some big companies when I put up the statistics here, gentlemen. I'm not talking about some small companies where the process is still in the process of getting established. I'm talking about some biggies. Other case of network access control or the protocol failure, he said, my NAC failed. And I didn't understand. That was the call to me. Mani, my NAC failed. I said, okay, what next? He said, no, come, meet me. So, the NAC failed, it failed to detect a rogue or an alien laptop when plugged in, but actually, it was not a technology failure there. I just needed about 20 minutes to tell him that it was not a technology failure, because all they had configured was the laptop when connected, there is an imaging which was tied to the AD, to the Active Directory, and the NAC actually checks if the image is there on the laptop, if the antivirus is activated, is updated, and all of that, and if he is an active member in the AD, and it would let him in. But they never bothered to configure, if this case fails, then it should generate an alert to me. Simple procedural lapse. It cost him a lot. I'm talking about a big IT company here. So many do not differentiate between password protection and encryption. So I WinZip and encrypt it, I password protect it, I use an encryption software. So I'm not going to be taking a session on encryption over here, but I'm saying these are basics that someone has to establish before they accept something as a solution or their first step in security. Talking about people failure, there is no excuse for the CXOs not to adopt a robust org structure or a team of experts to concentrate on information security as a subject and not treat it as a IT standalone or a silo subject in the company. The other case of BYOD, I don't know how many of you here who have this policy in your companies, but this is fast catching. Bring your own device. The IT wants to cut costs. So you bring your Blackberries, you bring your pads, you bring your PCs, whatever laptops you want, and you can connect and start using it. But what I'm trying to tell you is it's fine as long as you know what you're getting into. Because with it comes different OS, different environments, different patch updates which don't get updated, and it has to pass through IT for all the updates. I'm talking about a simple BlackBerry. I mean, it's supposed to have its own firewall. A simple PIN. So I'm saying these are a few things that you'll have to look into when you want to set up something called information security in your company. Technology failure, phishing. Open mail relay. So we still get phishing emails. So does it mean that my filter is bad? No, it's just that the phishing email is much smarter. Over there, it's a technology failure definitely because it's not able to relate to that incoming email or whatever message. And downtime, Vidya mentioned about emergency shutdowns and all of that stuff. So these are the people, process and technology related failures, and when it is not coercive, you're not talking information security. You're talking, so you will probably ask the HR to form a policy for exit procedures and formalities. You'll ask IT only to concentrate on access controls and whatever. You will talk of awareness where there is somebody doing awareness on something which doesn't relate to the company. So these are my experiences in my profession. So I'm not taking this up from somewhere else. So a quick way ahead is, if you want to start off to know what you want to be doing, start off to know where you are. Don't look at a VAPT or a server reconfiguration or a network analysis as a security assessment anymore. They are parts of your security assessment. You need to do a reality test of how good your employees behave in the company. That's a big challenge, but you've got to start from there. You need to look at how good are your physical security controls. You need to look at how good are your IT. I think I'm going to sum up here. I'm open for questions. I think we have some good time for questions. Yep, 10 minutes. So thank you very much for the patient hearing. Thank you once again.